Architects actually show the glory of the government. A government is celebrated by the kind of buildings and infrastructure that it is able to achieve during its tenure.
On our interview segment, we caught up with the president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, architect Mobolaji Adeniyi. She spoke to us on a number of issues, including how she intends to reposition the profession to contribute its quota to the growth and development of Nigeria's economy under her leadership as the president. Hear her.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. If you just joined us, this is still Environment Today on Africa Independent Television. We'll be speaking with our guest now, who happens to be the president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, and I'm talking about architect Mobolaji Adeniyi. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, madam. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here with you.
Let's first say congratulations to you for your emergence as the president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, the second woman in almost
64
years. That's no mean feat, ma'am. How did you get that?
Thank you very much. The Nigerian Institute of Architects, like you rightly said, started in 1960, April to be precise. And it's an association, the umbrella association for all architects in Nigeria. And as you all know, architecture is a predominantly male-dominated field. And so, of course, for many years, we've had only men as presidents of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. But that's not to say that the women have not been doing well. It's just that when you have few women in the midst of so many men, it's not always easy to get to the top. But because we all had the same training, we are strong and as resilient as the men, therefore, it wasn't too difficult for them to see that they could trust some women to the position of leadership. And so for some of us who've been on the scene in leadership roles right from, I think almost 20 years now, I was chapter chairman in the Oyo State chapter then. And then after that, I was national treasurer. I've been in council for many years. And so they all saw it, that it isn't a matter of just being a woman. It's competence and determination. And by God's grace, that's why I'm here today.
All right. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go to the profession itself. We do know that architects are involved in designing projects. So tell us, in every part of the world, architects play a very important role, or architectural design, so to speak, in the growth and development of every nation. So let's see in Nigeria how this profession has thrived in achieving this.
Thank you very much. Architecture is almost like the symbol of life. How do you describe a people? How do you describe their culture? How do you describe their development? It's usually measured in terms of the kind of buildings that they have built. For instance, if you look at the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, if you look at even Dubai more recently, the Burj Arab, the buildings in Dubai, all over the world, architects actually show the glory of the government. A government is celebrated by the kind of buildings and infrastructure that it is able to achieve during its tenure. And so architecture in Nigeria has also seen a fair share of the Nigerian architects playing their roles. All over the country, from the north to the south, to the east to the west, you see Nigerian architects doing very, very well. And you can see our works displayed all over the country. So we can say that the development of this nation has also been as a contribution from the Nigerian architects, from the buildings we have designed.
Okay, talking about buildings you have designed, but we still have building and structure collapses in the country. So let's see, what sort of synergy or collaboration exists between the architects and other professionals in the built environment sector?
Architects are usually the lead consultants in builder projects. And this is because it is the architects that designs the building. The conceptualization comes from the architect's table. You design, you envisage, you have the concept of what you want the building to look like. Not just what it looks like, how it is going to stand structurally, even the lighting, all the components of the building fall directly under the purview of the architect. You even control the costs because it depends on the kind of materials that you specify, the location, how comfortable the building is. All of this is from the architect's table. But the architect cannot do it alone. And that's why we have other professionals in the built environment. And like you rightly pointed out, there must be synergy because if I do a very good design and I don't have a good structural engineer, that building may collapse. The building may look nice, but if the engineer does not have a good structural design and put the columns, the beams in the right places, the design of the reinforcement, the building can collapse. But because the architect, is like the lead consultant, like I said, he has the oversight function on site to supervise and to ensure that he's working with qualified engineers, structural, mechanical, electrical, the quantity surveyor, all of them work with the architect. They must all work together to ensure the goal of a building that does not just satisfy aesthetics and function, but is also structurally stable.
Right. You are the president now. So let's look at how you intend to deal with the challenges. First of all, you tell us what challenges you see, or hamper the implementation of architectural designs or even structure, putting up structures in the country. If there are challenges like there probably an intrusion of quacks or any other challenge that you see, and how you intend to address this, during your tenure and change the narrative.
Okay, thank you very much. It's like every society has a fair share of quackery. But then in Nigeria, we do have a big problem here. And this is because we have a public that sometimes do not recognize the worth and the value of professionalism. And even sometimes we see people who are not registered professionals beginning to do the work of registered professionals. And then you also see some of our colleagues who sometimes compromise on standards. And that is why the association is there, to ensure that professionalism is respected, because we have code of ethics and code of conduct that is so important to us. Before an architect is qualified to be called an architect in Nigeria, he must have trained in a recognized and accredited school of architecture. After this, he does a time we call a pupillage, where he is working with registered and experienced architects before he sits for his professional exams. When he sits for his professional exams, he passes this exam. Usually it is the Nigerian Institute of Architects conducts a professional practice exams. And when he qualifies, we have a registration body, the Architects Registration Council of Nigeria, that registers architects that have passed the professional competence practice exams. So it's very important for architects to go through this. Anyone who doesn't go through this is not registered, is a quack. So we do have some people that are not registered, but they can work under registered architects. So at least the registered architects are there to ensure that whatever is done is up to the standard that is required. Everybody has gone against the law, because you're not supposed to engage somebody who is not qualified to do a project for you. And so we have a lot of cases on our hands of people who are not trained, qualified, or registered to be called architects, being given commissions, taking on jobs that they're not qualified to do. And so this is causing a lot of problems. But we are working very hard with our Architects Registration Council of Nigeria, because they are the government agency that has the legal backing to be able to prosecute anyone who is not registered and is practicing. Usually most projects, we are requested to show our practice license. And so there's a register of architects. So it's easy to know if the the architect is registered or not. But sometimes, our people, they do cut corners. So, but we are working very hard, like I said, with the Architects Registration Council of Nigeria to ensure that wherever we see any of such things happening, we report and such people can be prosecuted. And we're also working very hard to ensure that our members who are not registered get the necessary tutelage, get the necessary accreditation, so that they're able to get registered and practice properly.
You say Nigerians cut corners and that sometimes they don't understand, the importance of professionalism in any field. Are your charges so exorbitant that people cannot afford them? Probably. Is that an issue?
No, our charges are not exorbitant. That's just the truth. It is the value we bring that is more important. It hurts me when I see some things that happen. Whoever is going to build a house is going to spend money, isn't he or she? It's going to spend money. Whatever investment you're putting down must be properly guided. If not, you're wasting money. So at the end of the day, you engage somebody who's not qualified to do a building for you. You've wasted your money. It would have been better to have paid a professional who would take how much of it, of the whole money is it? It's not that much. But many times, our people, penny-wise, pound foolish. So our charges are not too high. No. As a matter of fact, they're not compared to the investment. But it is more important for the client to know that the architect is giving me value. Sometimes not even quantified in Naira and Kobo.